Shalom. I want to start off by saying Kal Halal Yamlah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rekah Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us the truth and who rule well. Peace and citations unto the Akim that is spread around the four corners of the earth, spreading this word in sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect. I'm the brother Kwazazab Zion from the GMS Holland branch, coming back through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai with another lesson, with another video, and Lord willing, this video is edifying. In this video, I'm going to go into this article that you see before you, and it's entitled WEF Accelerates Plan to Engineer Global Famine. 13 nations agree to abolish farming. And it is from the People's Voice. And it reads, 13 WEF infiltrated countries have recently announced plans to abolish farming as part of the Great Reset agenda for humanity. And y'all that are in the knowing, you know that the Great Reset is part of the new up-and-coming one world order that this so-called white man wants to put up, and his biblical name is Esau Edom, the so-called white man. The Global Methane Hub announced in May 17th press release that agriculture and environmental ministers and ambassadors from 13 countries, including the United States, have signed a commitment to abolish farming. Last month, in April 2023, the Global Methane Hub collaborated with the Ministries of Agriculture of Chile and Spain to convene the first ever global ministerial and agricultural practices to reduce methane emissions. The ministerial brought together high-ranking government members to share global perspectives on methane reduction and low-emission food systems. The gathering led to a statement in which the nations committed to support efforts to improve the quality and quantity of and access to finance for climate change adaptation and mitigation measures in the agriculture and food sectors, and to collaborate on efforts aimed at lowering methane emissions in agriculture and food systems. Liberty Sentinel org reports conference participants included the Food and Agriculture Organization, Organization of the United Nations Climate and Clean Air Coalition, Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, the World Bank, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and the Inter-American Development Bank. The World Bank, another creation of the post-World War II, U.S.-led liberal rules-based order, has been talking a lot lately, along with the UN, about a coming famine. You see, so this is the point, the famine that is coming up. It's all orchestrated, and it's actually self-inflicted. They are making this famine come about, because this so-called white man, the Edomite, he uses gradualism, and he wants to systemically create and induce a famine. You see, the World Bank issued a white paper just last week on May 22nd titled Food security update. World Bank response to rising food insecurity. I think if we click on it, it's going to send us to that link. I'm also going to put this article in the description box so that you can read it for yourself, do some research for yourself. This is the link. Food security update. World Bank response to rising food insecurity. The last update was on June 5th, 2022. So I could read all this, but I think it's time to grab some scriptures. And then I got a second article also, which shows you that they're one step closer to this global famine, Let's go to Matthew 24, verse 7. And this red letters, so this Yahushai speaking. The disciples asked him, when is it the kingdom of heaven going to come? Let me start at 3. Point is in 7. Salakia. Matthew 24, verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world? This is what the disciples asked Yahushai, which Yahushai is the name of the person that everybody ignorantly calls Jesus. It's not no pale, white, long-haired, blue-eyed, green-eyed man. No. The scriptures describe him as a dark-skinned man, olive color, color like his skin color was dark, as it was burned in a furnace, and he had white woolly hair and red eyes, So it's not that shy guy that they're showing in movies, that with that high-pitched voice. No, he had a voice of many waters, a loud, deep voice. So the disciples asked Yahushai, what is going to be the sign of thy coming and the end of this world? And when we go into that word, world, and it's supposed to say eon. You see, eon. The outline of biblical usage says, forever an unbroken age, which that goes into unbroken rulership, because we are living in the age of the so-called white man, the rulership of the white man. An unbroken age, perpetually of time, the world's universe, a period of time. So when is going to be the end of this time that the Romans are in rulership? Because now we are still in the Roman revived rulership. You see? Let's see. Age course. Let's go into that word age. Let's see what that brings up. The length of time that a person has lived. Distinct period of history. You see? So a distinct period of time. Matthew 24, verse 4. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. You have a lot of people that are calling themselves the Messiah right now. People that say that they have the Holy Spirit, but none of them they're all liars, they're all deceivers. Verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So we are now hearing of wars and rumors of wars. World War III is about to pop off, but still you shouldn't be troubled because all these things must come to pass. But then the end is not yet. We still have time to go. Verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. So these nations, you have, for example, the Elamites, which are the so-called Hindus, and you have the Chinese, which are the Moabites, and you have the Persians, which are also Elamites. You have the Arabians, which are Ishmaelites. All these nations, they are going to come up one against another, and kingdom against kingdom. So these countries are going to battle one another, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. Now you have earthquakes daily, weekly, popping off, and famines. That's the point. Famines are going to come. We all know about the famine that has been in Venezuela for the longest, but now it's going to be on a worldwide scale. You see. So let me go to the other article. This is WEF orders U.S. government to forcibly siege farms by 2025 and burn millions of cattle. Biden's special presidential envoy for climate, the former Senator John Kerry, has declared that it's time to follow in the Netherlands' footsteps and crack down on privately owned farms to fight climate change. And this hits home because not we, the camp of Holland, we are in the Netherlands. I am in the Netherlands, and we are firsthand seeing the clashes between the farmers and the government, the Dutch government, the government of the Netherlands, because the government is sieging the grounds of the farmers. They are making it impossible for the farmers to pay the bills that they have to pay because they push out too much emission. Like we were just reading about the methane emission. So now, in order for them to grasp the land, they're putting all these sanctions on them. That they have to abide by the new rules of the emission. But the government already knows that the farmers are not going to be able to do that. So that's their way of taking the grounds of the farmers, to take their grounds, to take their equipment, to take everything over from them, So let's go on and read. According to Curry, the United States must massively reduce farming to meet the radical green agenda goals laid out by World Economic Forum and the United Nations. And one thing that also comes to mind is that who owns the most farmlands in America? People own most farmland. No, man, that's not true. See, Bill Gates owns a lot of American farmland, but not the majority. But that's what they want to go towards, if Bill Gates has a big portion and the government has the rest, then it's already known, that it's not of the people. Let's see. Farmland is a solid investment option that offers steady returns and hedge against inflation while di- diversifying your portfolio. Bill Gates is currently the US's most significant private farmland owner, you see, with 242,000 acres of farmland in 18 states. Ted Turner owns 17 ranches, and the Resnick family owns 192,000 farmland acres in California and Texas. So you see, Bill Gates is already has a hand in it. So let's go on. Depending a little bit on how you count it, but it's anywhere from 26 to 33. And we can't get to net zero. We don't get this job done unless agriculture is front and center as part of the solution. So all of us understand here the depths of this mission. But most people are still refusing to understand the real depths of this mission and who actually is pulling Kerry's puppet strings. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to the People's Voice channel if there's some promotion. Delivering these remarks of the Agriculture Innovation Mission for Climate Summit held in Washington, D.C., Kerry neglected to acknowledge the undeniable fact that the agriculture industry plays a vital role in providing sustenance and ensuring the survival of all approximately 8 billion people worldwide. So this is also an article that I'm going to put in the description box that you can read for yourself. But once again, let's go into the scriptures. Let's go to 2nd Ezra this time. 2nd Ezra 6. Verse 22. And it reads, "And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty." And that's that systemic famine that they're creating, you know. That systematical famine, that gradualism that they're being that they're busy with right now. You see, because now you have the farmlands, so everything is still going like how it's used to go, but once the government gets their filthy hands upon the farmlands and the places that need to be sown, they're not gonna be sowing anything, man. They're going to make it that the emission has to drop. So they are not going to be planting stuff, They're not going to have cattle running loose, They're not going to be supplying the stores with meat and stuff like that, because we already read that they want to do away with meat, because according to them, beef, you know that is one of the number one causes of the high emissions, you see. So they want everybody to eat plant-based foods or insects and stuff like that, you see. Yeah, man, this man he's the devil the Bible speaks of, you know. We all know what his plans are. He's going towards that one world order. He wants the middle class to disappear, and he only wants to have the rich and the poor. And the poor he also wants to, use as slaves, as cattle, you know. 2nd Ezra 16, verse 18. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death. You see, famine is going to bring great death with it. The beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? You see, famine is about to come, war is about to come, major death is about to come, and the powers are going to stand in fear. You know, the governments that are ruling right now, they are not gonna have security like how they have security in the past. You know, the power that they had, that they were secure in their countries, in their kingdoms, in their empires, that is not going to be anymore, man. Esau is going to come with that wrath, you know, like it says in Revelation 12, verse 12. You know that he has a short time, you see. Let's go to Lamentation. Lamentation, was it 3? No, 4. 4, verse 9. Because to die of famine is a gruesome death, man. This is Lamentation 4, verse 9. They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. You see, you rather die by the sword than die of hunger, than to die of famine. For these pine away, stricken through for want of the fruits of the field. So you're going to wither away, you're going to pine away, lusting and hungering for the fruits of the field, meaning for some vegetables, for some fruits, or anything that you can get your hands of, some rice, some potatoes, you know, that's what you really want, but you can't have it, you know. You are going to pine away, and it's better to die actually with one sword strike, to have a quick death, than to pine away from hunger, you know. But famine is one of the cleansing agents of the Most High. You know, he used it in the past, and he's going to use it again. This is Sirach 40, verse 9. Death and bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge, these things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood. You see? Bloodshed, strife, sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and scourge, these things were created for the wicked. So the wicked are going to die by these things, you know? That's something that you have to have in the back of your mind. When you see people dying like this, it's because they are wicked. You see, that's why the Most High created these things. Like it also says in Sirach 39, verse 28, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. So in the time of destruction, when the Most High is going to let these spirits loose to appease, and if you go into that word, appease means to pacify, you know, the wrath of him that made them, which who made them? The Most High. Fire and hail and famine and death, and all these were created for vengeance from the Most High. That's why these things were created. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. You see? These things were created for the wicked. Let's go to Revelation Revelation 18, verse 4, and it reads, "And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sin, and that ye receive not of her plagues." Gone. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High had remembered her iniquities. So the Most High is calling our people, which are the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, not to be partakers of this wine of this whore, which that whore that sitteth upon the dragon, that harlot, that's America. We shouldn't be partakers of their wickedness. Otherwise, we also are going to receive of the plagues, which are the ones that I just read. Fire, hail, famine, sword. All these things are going to come to punish the wicked. And if you are hand in hand with the wicked, then you shall not go unpunished, like the scripture says, roughly paraphrasing. You see? Let's go to 2nd Ezra 16. And read until 24. And it reads, "Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges." You see? So people, even though they see these things, they're not going to remember to turn to their power, because it wasn't made for them. It wasn't made for the whole of Israel to make it out of this second Exodus. The first Exodus, all the Israelites came out of that captivity. But in this Exodus, the Israelites that are joined onto Esau, the so-called white man, they are going to get punished like how Esau and the so-called white man is going to be punished. You see? Verse 21, "Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in a good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion." And that's that time that we're living in right now, Or even before, if you would go 4 years back in the past, before the whole pandemic, everything was cheap. But now you already see that things are skyrocketing, inflation is hitting. So things are not very cheap anymore, So this prophecy already came to pass, that things were cheap. But now things are getting more expensive, man. Verse 22, "For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape hunger that shall Salakia, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy." You see? And that's let me see, was it real quick? Yeah, there's a scripture that speaks about famine is within and without. I'm going to see if I can find it, and I'm going to post it in the description box. But it says, the ones that are going to escape the famine, the sword is going to destroy them. Because you cannot escape the judgment of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You see? Verse 23, "And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. There shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it." You see? So there's going to be so much death that people are not even going to bother to bury people, because there's going to be more dead people than people that are going to be willing to do the work to bury them. You know, there shall be no man left to till the earth. So there's not going to be any people that are going to be willing to plant and stay in that same place until they can harvest. No, man, yeah, you're going to be moving, you're going to be escaping, you're going to be in danger, you're going to be in perils in that time. The tree shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? The whole place is going to be desolate. Even if there's going to be fruit, there's not going to be people that is going to be willing to pick them. People are going to be laying dead on the streets. You see. So yeah, man, I'm gonna end it off with that, and I hope this video is edifying. And I want to say Kal Halal Yamla Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Rakak Wadash Shalom Akim.